Hollywood may be more open than ever, but for LGBTQ+ stars, coming out still carries risk, power, and history-making impact. From Ellen DeGeneres' fearless, "Yep, I'm gay" in 1997 to Lil Nas X's unapologetic firestorm, these moments didn't just define careers, they redefined what it means to live authentically in the spotlight. In the mid-1992nd, Ellen DeGeneres was at the peak of her career, starring in her own hit sitcom Ellen and beloved for her quirky, relatable humor. Then came the 14th of April, 1997. On the cover of Time magazine, she stared straight into the camera with the headline that would become television history, "Yep, I'm gay." The announcement wasn't just personal, it was seismic. In a time when LGBTQ+ representation on television was almost non-existent, Ellen's decision to come out publicly was both groundbreaking and risky. The following week, her sitcom aired the now famous Puppy episode, where her character also came out first for a primetime network show. But the cultural pushback was swift and brutal. Conservative groups protested, advertisers fled, and within a year, ABC canceled Ellen. For a time, her career seemed over. Years later, Ellen reinvented herself, returning with The Ellen DeGeneres Show, which would run for nearly 2 decades and win dozens of Emmys. But no matter how much success followed, that 1997 cover remains one of the bravest and costliest acts of authenticity in Hollywood history. In the late 92nd and early 2002nd, Ricky Martin was more than a pop star, he was a cultural phenomenon. With smoldering good looks, effortless charisma, and anthems like Livin' La Vida Loca and She Bangs, he was the dream crush of millions. Rumors about his sexuality swirled for years, but Ricky kept his personal life off limits, skillfully dodging direct answers in interviews. Then, in March 2010, he posted a deeply personal letter on his official website. "I am proud to say that I am a fortunate homosexual man." The announcement spread like wildfire. Many longtime fans, especially women, expressed heartbreak, while countless others applauded his honesty and courage. Ricky explained that he had avoided coming out earlier because of fears it would destroy his career, but ultimately decided he could no longer live in hiding. Instead of losing his place in the spotlight, Ricky redefined it. He became an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, particularly in Latin America, where cultural taboos still linger. His revelation didn't just free him, it empowered millions to embrace who they were. Colton Underwood entered America's living rooms as The Bachelor's All-American Golden Boy, a former NFL player whose virginity became a central plot point on the reality dating show. Millions tuned in to watch dozens of women compete for his heart. Then, in April 2021, Colton appeared on Good Morning America with a revelation no one saw coming: "I'm gay." The announcement stunned fans and reignited debates about the show's authenticity. Some viewers felt misled. Others commended him for the courage it took to come out so publicly after years in the spotlight. Netflix quickly capitalized on the moment, producing a docuseries titled Coming Out Colton, which followed his journey to self-acceptance. For better or worse, Colton's twist ending ensured his reality television legacy, just not in the way anyone had predicted. Sam Smith had already cemented their place in music history, multiple Grammys, an Oscar, and a voice that could break hearts in a single note. They had publicly come out as gay in 2014, but in 2019, Sam made another announcement that would challenge the mainstream. They identify as non-binary and use they/them pronouns. The statement, shared with vulnerability and pride, lit up social media. Supporters praised the move as a milestone for non-binary visibility, while critics and trolls mocked or resisted the change. Sam, however, remained unwavering. They embraced gender-fluid fashion on red carpets, swapping tuxedos for corseted gowns and shimmering jumpsuits, and continued to push the envelope in both music and image. Through it all, Sam Smith became a cultural lightning rod not just for their talent, but for their commitment to living authentically, regardless of the noise. For decades, Bruce Jenner was an American icon, Olympic gold medalist, Wheaties box hero, and later, the calm, fatherly presence on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Then, in June 2015, the world woke up to Vanity Fair's bold cover, "Call Me Caitlyn." Dressed in a glamorous corset, Caitlyn Jenner introduced herself to the world as a transgender woman. The announcement was a cultural earthquake. News outlets broadcast the story non-stop. Social media lit up with messages of support, and LGBTQ+ advocates hailed it as a groundbreaking moment for trans visibility. But as months passed, Caitlyn's outspoken political stances, often at odds with much of the LGBTQ+ community, sparked division. Regardless of the controversy, that Vanity Fair cover remains etched in history as one of the most visible and talked about coming out moments of the 21st century. Before Bridgerton made him an international heartthrob, Jonathan Bailey was a talented stage and television actor navigating an industry that still sent a chilling message: don't come out if you want to be a leading man. Bailey later revealed that early in his career, he was advised to keep his sexuality a secret to protect his chances at romantic lead roles. The pressure forced him into a double life, projecting one version of himself for casting directors and another in his private world. Only after gaining fame and security did he decide to speak openly about being gay, calling out the hypocrisy of an industry that brands itself as progressive while quietly perpetuating homophobia. His story became an uncomfortable reminder that even in the glittering age of Netflix mega-hits, the closet is never fully gone. Lil Nas X didn't just break records with Old Town Road, he shattered music industry norms. After publicly coming out as gay in 2019, he continued to push boundaries, but nothing prepared the internet for his 2021 release of Montero, Call Me By Your Name. The video featured a fantastical journey from the Garden of Eden to hell itself, complete with a now infamous scene where Lil Nas X slides down a stripper pole into the underworld and gives Satan a lap dance. It was provocative, unapologetic, and dripping with queer symbolism. Fans hailed it as a bold statement of self-expression. Conservative groups called it blasphemy and demanded boycotts. Instead of backing down, Lil Nas X leaned in harder, releasing Satan Shoes, containing drops of human blood and trolling critics on Twitter with gleeful precision. Love him or hate him, he proved that controversy could be art, and art could be activism. By the late 92nd, George Michael was a global superstar, a former Wham frontman turned solo pop icon, famous for both his powerhouse voice and his smoldering charisma. But in April 1998, the world saw a very different headline: pop star arrested in Beverly Hills public restroom for lewd conduct. The scandal exploded across tabloids and late-night monologues. In an era when many celebrities scrambled to deny or downplay anything remotely queer, George took the opposite route. Days later, he came out as gay, candidly discussing his sexuality on television and radio. Instead of hiding in shame, he leaned into the moment with a razor-sharp sense of humor, even parodying the incident in his cheeky music video Outside, set entirely in a police station-themed disco. What could have been the end of his career became a powerful turning point. George Michael's unapologetic honesty transformed a public gotcha moment into a global declaration of freedom, inspiring countless fans to live openly. By 2017, Kevin Spacey was at the top of his game. With 2 Oscars to his name and a starring role in House of Cards, he was one of Hollywood's most respected actors. But his career unraveled almost overnight when actor Anthony Rapp accused him of sexual misconduct, claiming the incident took place decades earlier when Rapp was just 14. Spacey's response shocked the industry, and not in the way he intended. In a public statement, he apologized to Rapp and, in the same breath, came out as gay. The move was widely condemned as a blatant attempt to shift the narrative and distract from the accusations. LGBTQ+ advocates criticized him for using his sexuality as a shield in the midst of a scandal, and the backlash was swift. Netflix cut all ties, halting production on House of Cards and canceling other planned projects. Multiple additional allegations surfaced, and within months, one of Hollywood's most celebrated careers had collapsed. Spacey's coming out will forever be remembered not as a moment of pride, but as a cautionary tale about timing and intent. For millions of fans, Kristen Stewart was Bella Swan, the shy, love-struck heroine of the Twilight Saga, a role that made her one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. But off-screen, Kristen was navigating her own journey of self-discovery. In 2015, paparazzi captured images of her holding hands and kissing visual effects producer Alicia Cargile in public. While Kristen had long been private about her relationships, these images sparked a media frenzy. Instead of retreating, she began to open up, telling interviewers she felt so much happier living authentically. Kristen rejected rigid labels, stating she didn't feel the need to define her sexuality for anyone but herself. Her public transformation was striking. Gone were the long brown locks and red carpet gowns of her twilight years, she embraced a bold, androgynous style, buzz cuts, and a sharp-edged confidence. Beyond her personal life, she began taking riskier, more diverse acting roles, proving she could be far more than the girl who loved Edward Cullen. In doing so, Kristen became a symbol of self-expression and freedom for a new generation.